Okay, I call the City Council of West Liberty, Iowa, to order, and first is a roll call. So we are joined by Councilmember Parizek, Councilmember Dominguez, Mayor ProTem McFerren, Councilmember Schiltz, and Councilmember Martinez. Next item is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then item number 3, the consent agenda, which is the city council minutes from 10/21/22/25. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And we'll move on to city reports. Item. I'm sorry, this just became very large on here. So do we have anything from the city engineer?
Not this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. And the city manager.
A verbal report for mayor and council tonight. Lumen annexation, you'll see that in your council packet. We were able to finally get that completed, so we have that based on tonight's council's action, then we'd be able to proceed with the annexation again with the US Highway 6 80/20 annexation process. Continuing to work with Lumen as well on the private residence on North Miller Street. We'll have a follow-up with them again this week to see where they're at with their legal. Mitigation county meeting was held on October 23rd. The city hosted an afternoon session. Chief and I attended that, and we went over a lot of specific information, and our homework right now is to go back and update all of our projects that would align with mitigation. And that's what we'll be doing. And this is also good timing because it's tying into the city's emergency operation plan as well. FEMA, everything has been completed for the storm funds. We will expect to get a little more than 43,000 reimbursed back for us for the costs for the work done and the fuel for the storm in 2024 May. We are now underway for the mitigation work with the electric project, and that is a couple of options, whether we reinstate above ground or below ground. And I believe Cody's here, I'll have him remind me, I believe this is over on 6th Street or
On 7th and 8th.
7th and 8th, yeah,
And going down Nelson.
that's right. Also, we'll be looking at in our mitigation, the storm shelter or tornado shelter, as we've talked about before, potentially with the pool project. Building and grounds met, and we'll give you an update on October 25th. At the same time, we hosted the University of Iowa's mobile clinic, was well attended. They were doing vaccinations that day. And again, in your packet, you'll see that we were brought back the ISUs for the goals meeting. Employee supervisors meeting, they were kind to me and allowed me to do a couple of surveys. And so with that, we were able to set monthly meetings twice a month. So we'll have an employee supervisor meeting in the morning on Mondays, and then following with the mid-management meeting directly after that. In addition to that, I asked that we do a tree contest where each department will be creating a tree no more than 4 feet, preferably that they're utilizing upcycle materials or crafting their own. We will have that display on the November 23rd holiday open house at the City Hall location. And attendees will be able to vote in 3 categories. The Friends of the Public Library, possibly giving some awards for that. Any funds that are raised during the event will all go towards the library's capital fundraiser project. In addition to that, I think I already talked about continuing work with the supervisors and mid-management on the emergency SOP. getting prepared for budget work, and tomorrow we have our open enrollment for our benefits. The Upwards staff and I met with the Army and Army Reserve pertaining to some updates to agreements and potentially bringing on a couple new Army entities. So that work is ongoing. Also on the Deepu, I think it's called Deepu Chow, the 8th Street project for Mr. Geary. We are his development engineers are currently working on stormwater retention. They've got an application for the development, and Bill's not with us tonight, but through We Lead, he is also working on Iowa Economic Development Authority, a grant for that project. Cody and I have had a couple of weeks of extensive litigation work that we are doing right now. So that's taken up quite a bit of our time. This last week we had 2 dog attacks. They were bites, and I'm currently going to be working with animal control, and I have to reach out to our attorneys because these are gonna have require a public hearing process for them. So unfortunately, the last couple of weeks we've had quite a few dog at large, and fortunately only 2 bites, but still 2 bites, and they were pretty significant bites. So had a meeting with our building inspection team. We talked about customer service and communication, and along with that, gearing up for the rental inspection reinstatement and setting a meeting with the landlords to go through that process. And We Lead in the chamber will be assisting with that communication. I was able to have a meeting with the library staff last week. And so we spent a couple of hours going over city operations and some information on behalf of their department. And along with that, there was some fire and EMS transition work and correspondence. Sent to attorney Steve Littiger, a lease agreement draft. We currently have voluntary action with Cara Cruz, Caring Closet with Maria Galvan, American Legion, Sons in the Auxiliary with Kevin Miner, the University of Iowa Mobile Clinics, and Mayela Ambries. She has for her basic health and safety program. And the Rotary. So we currently have those organizations that are either currently utilizing space or working on getting space set up for them. And so I've asked for a nonprofit or community organizations lease agreement, and then we'll have a lease agreement for those who are interested in renting the facility. We talked about that a little bit at the building and grounds. Then I have a new agreement drafted that's under review by the mayor and the president of We Lead and myself as we're going through to update the tax increment finance funding and the agreement between We Lead and the city. And then at this time, the clerk and I are working on, as we're wrapping up our end of the year, the clerk and the deputy clerk are finishing doing, well, I don't want to say they're finishing. They've gotten to a really good place with the audit, is my understanding. The clerk has been very busy working with Tyler, trying to get those additional items corrected, and we'll bring you some more information on that. Also, we have budget training coming up, and I believe we're looking at the end of November. We can either go in person or do that by Zoom. If you are interested, if we do that by Zoom, I'll reach out to you and send you a reminder. And if you're interested in joining us for that Zoom training, or you can sign up for yourself and do Zoom from wherever's convenient for you for that. And the annual meeting for We Lead is scheduled, I believe, for November 14th. And then in addition to that, I know we've all heard the news about Father G, and so there's not enough words that can be said for Father G. He will be deeply missed, and won't be able to fill those shoes, but we see what's next. So With the public works, Adam just wanted me to share with streets, they've started doing the leaf pickup. They've grinded about 20 or more stumps in the last few weeks. He's saying that we purchased 6 new dumpsters to replenish our stock. They took the F-550 to Des Moines to get a salt spreader put in. So they're gearing up for, hopefully it's a good jinx and we won't have that much, bad weather to have to, but they're ready to go. And Trenton and Corey they've been working on the Christmas tree contest, so water and sewer, they've inspected their aeration tank with ISG. They have some samples, from that they're gonna be submitting. And, they said the aeration tank is looking really good, so that's a win for the department. I know they've also been working with administration staff on getting out the lead and copper mailings and to meet our requirements. I think we spoke about that at the previous meeting. And Lynch, has replaced all the lines on 4th Street. So if you've noticed, if you've been over that direction, the Dollar General, that was a project that we, ended up partnering with the private industry as they were gonna be doing work. And so that was an opportunity for us to share those costs with that Dollar General, so we could replace the lead and copper there as well. So and they just fixed the valve on Park Street here as they were getting ready to shut the water off for the pool. Unfortunately, the valve broke and so it needed to be replaced. And wastewater treatment, they're running their final round of E. coli samples. IAS was here to replace the battery and the screw press panel. The screw press panel is about as always something going on with that, like well number 2, so you hear a lot about screw press panel. And Riley was off last week and he is back on board though, because I just met with him too. And then the east clarifier has been repaired and the screw press arrived last week. We will have the electrical portion done first and then hire a contractor for the install. So if you have any other questions, maybe not tonight, but if you think of some, just reach out, okay? And that is all I have. Thank you.
Any questions now?
Does a mobile clinic let you know how much traffic they get?
Yeah, they give us numbers. I have not followed up with them. They were gonna get me that information. The communication, they also shared, that things have been going so well that, they are looking to reinstate again this spring. Right now, they said that their clinics are done, and the next round would come in the spring, so continue to work with them, and then I'll see if we can get some data on that information.
All right, if there aren't any further questions for the city manager, we'll move on to building the grounds for the Councilman Martinez and Mayor ProTem McFerren.
It was quite the meeting, pretty extensive agenda. We went over the building again, did a tour of the building to look at what upgrades have been done since last time. Very nice upgrades to the offices now that we're all integrated into one structure. The employees were given the ability to kind of go through their offices and kind of decorate their own and set their own up. So that was very nice. Let's see. I guess, and we're doing upgrades to the kitchen. We have appliances, some appliances purchased and some infrastructure in place so that we can make sure to bring the kitchen up to what it should be utilized, not just by the city for various events or meetings, but also by the general public. So the kitchen really needed to be brought up online because it was virtually stripped. Let's see, what else? We talked about in some of the rooms, we repurposed some of the cabinets, so that cut out some of the expense. We didn't have to purchase any cabinetry. or shelving, so that was nice that they were able to turn those around, recycle in a way. We also talked about, the gym is being very, very utilized. A lot of people have been coming to the gym, both adults and youth. And there was some purchase of some basketball upgrades to the hoops in the gym. So it is going gangbusters in the gymnasium. Let's see, we do have amongst all the rooms a playroom for children in the event we need it for specific things like childcare during the mobile health clinic. If there needs to be any interviews with the children in regards to any investigations, or there needs some childcare for parents that maybe are coming for a class or coming for the donation closet, so it's identified as a safe space for the children. We also have identified a couple more of the classroom spaces for other nonprofits. We've got, on top of that, working with the American Legion, like you said, Mayela Abres, right? On their health and safety program, and as well as Maria Galvan, working with, is it the
Carrying closet.
Oh, carrying
Yeah,
closet.
carrying closet, it's what they want, yes.
So it is really moving quite a bit, for community good, so that's really helpful. Also, we're working on creating a lease agreement for the nonprofits so that we can make sure we have, contacts and paperwork in place in the event, we need to talk to them or go over any issues or things like that. Also, we're going to be it's kind of a given, but the PD will now take over the former city hall so that they can have more of a dedicated larger space. Since we've all moved here for city hall staff and admin, so that'll be nice for them. Let's see, we're looking at, we talked about maybe doing another open house this spring, just to bring the public back and show them what we have done since that time. Since we have expended what funds we've had for upgrades, now we'll be talking in the close future with city engineers, in trying to map out a second phase of what we want to do with the structure. What else? We did talk a little bit about the pool now because of the major issues that we are having with the pool. There is a possibility that we may have to, I hate to say it may have to be go for this summer only because we need to work on creating a new structure. So, but before we do that, we want to engage the Park and Rec committee as well as the general public, and get them involved on necessary community needs, what we're looking at, what kind of structures, purposes. I know that we are looking at upgrading the pool house so that we can have more of the central rec area, larger building, also dual purpose for emergency tornado shelter. So that's in the works. We're just gonna gear up now to go out and solicit groups and individuals and committees to do that. So I guess keep posted because there's still, we still haven't come up with a final plan yet. Let's see, I think. We're still in discussions on annexation properties, so that is just ongoing. What else did we talk about? Possibly soliciting community groups and the local arts council for maybe a mural on this out exterior of this building to kind of get the community involved with taking part in working with this design of the building on the outside.
And I would just add, if you haven't noticed, the beautiful yellow has been replaced by some gray exterior, so.
On the,
Yeah, on the outside, so. Just brighten it up a little bit more.
So we had quite the meeting, and it was very helpful. So that we can kind of revisit some things and plan out others. Why not?
Add on to her points, we also talked about the trail, the walking trail that walks the park. For another quarter-mile.
Yeah.
We're just supposed to do some dirt removal before the winter time comes around. We also talked about possibly creating a bridge to gap the other side of the park from Mopsy to the other side of the river. I think you did say that they're gonna build a new bridge with a sidewalk on it.
So the
Bridge.
the
Highway
6,
six.
yeah, Highway 6, yeah, we'll have a walking.
We also located bathrooms on this hall, making gender neutral. I'm trying to kind of move towards that way. For the future, we also talked about the murals. We want to have local artists and maybe at some point bringing more of a national artist as well to bring, give people the opportunity to express themselves. Obviously, we want to bring something into town where it expresses our culture. So if kind of if somebody picks something that identifies West Liberty in a cultural way. Yeah. And also, I'm still working on getting a threat assessment. So we can get this building assessed to make sure where our weakest points are, where we need to build on, and bring our security bases. Yeah. And I think that's about it. I'm not saying.
Are there questions regarding the buildings and grounds meeting?
No, they did good, they were.
Yes. Yeah. The fire department did have a meeting last night, but since it's not on the agenda, are we okay talking about it, or?
Yeah, it's a committee of support.
Okay.
You guys can discuss it.
Two of our council members were there for the meeting, so.
It was, we're continuing to work through our monthly agendas. And, so to get the process to getting the agency back on its feet, the biggest one probably last night was the state agreed that the agency does qualify for the EMS and EMP status, so that was a big one, a hurdle to get over.
Yes.
So then we have, I got some other questions that I'll go over with the city manager, stuff that came out of last night's meeting. Everything's it's progressing, very well, and they're slowly getting on their feet and be ready for the next transition next year.
Very good.
Okay. Yes.
I have one question. Has there been any more discussion with the county on implementing that EMS emergency? Yeah, with the tax.
I have an answer.
They did talk, like the levies and stuff, they did talk about some of that last night.
Okay, are they closer to maybe putting it on the ballot or what?
Mayor, yes.
My discussion with Chris Jasper, the EMS coordinator, is that first step of declaring that as an essential service, that is still not been done.
Okay.
The mayor and I briefly spoken, we're gonna work to get a meeting with, Representative, Sorensen, who's on the EMS. So hopefully have an update here in a couple of weeks with, yeah.
So you have, it has to start with the county board first.
Well,
to clear that?
Yeah, there are at least 2 steps, and if not 3 steps, that have to be gone through. The very first one is the declaration by the Board of Supervisors that emergency services are an essential service. You cannot move on to establishing a tax base for that without determining that it's an essential service. But Councilmember Schiltz was gracious enough. I couldn't attend the meeting last night because of another conflict, anything more that you'd like to add to what Councilmember Parizek said?
No, I think it was nice to see the board in action and that they seem to be kind of tackling everything as they come about it, and then they uncovered things and they're moving full steam ahead. And I guess I would just continue to invite any community members or council members that would like to go sit in, and feel free to join them.
The December meeting might have been set last night toward the end. Remember, it's usually the
This
second.
was the 8th.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so those are at 6:30 at the fire station, and they are open meetings, so anyone in of the public can attend them, so. All right,
Is
thanks.
there minutes that get posted for that?
Yeah, there is.
At the
Yeah.
fire station? That's,
No, you can request them
Mhm.
as a public records request, yeah.
Okay, with that, we will move on to 5A. Vendor voucher claim list number 1 in the amount of $297,000, $197,021.21. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there discussion?
I just had a question.
Sure.
And I don't have it in front of me, so I apologize, but there was a charge for chemical labs for the West Liberty Foods plant, and it was like a couple $1,000s or something like that. Is that something that the city incurs cost to, or does West Liberty Foods pay for any of that? If it's, or maybe I'm misunderstanding what it's for. Okay.
Yeah, I'll let the clerk.
Line 23.
Yeah, so I do know that the West Liberty Foods, the wastewater does charge on their sewer report for the lab fees.
So West Liberty Foods is charged for that? Okay.
Through our sewer bill, because our sewer bill is done by the wastewater treatment plant. It's not one of the billings that are done through our software, it's through them themselves, and that is included on that
Okay.
portion.
And
Perfect.
that has to do with the E. coli testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only question I had.
Thank you. Are there additional questions? Hearing then, none, is there a motion to approve?
It's already been approved and
Oh,
seconded.
Sorry, okay, then all in favor signify by saying aye, so.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We will move on to public comments and or correspondence at time for people in the public can address issues that are not listed on the agenda. No action may be taken by the council. And we ask that you state your name and address for the record and keep the comments to no more than 2 minutes. Shari.
Well, read Mason Drive. I was told to send an email, but emails tend to get me in trouble. So to be honest with you, I forgot to send an email. That's why I'm here. I'm here because I made a post on Voices about Father G and about naming a street or something after this man. I think he deserves it. If I go on to tell you about all his accomplishments, we'll be here until New Year's of 2028. I mean, he's done a lot. And I think that instead of me having to go out there and get 200 signatures, which I'm happy to do, and I'll get that in under an hour or two, or we can just add it to the agenda, get it over with, get this man named after something. I don't care if you name the library after. Name something after that man so that his name lives on. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. I know that a lot of y'all know that I'm a very vocal person, but I'll be vocal for Father G, that's for sure. So if I gotta come to every meeting and ask y'all to name a street or a school or even this building after him, then y'all get used to me because I'll be here each and every time until y'all do. Okay, all right, thank you.
And since it's not on the agenda, we can't comment on that. So are there other public comments? Are there other public comments? Hearing none, we'll move on then to city council public comments and correspondence and start with Councilmember Martinez.
Want to leave first? You want to end with it first?
Start with you first.
So everybody has a packet in front of them. I placed it in front of you guys. It's a personal cyber security playbook. So I did a seminar last week on threats towards elected officials. Moving forward with people targeting certain officials. I don't even know we live in a small town and we know everybody here, but I never know what could happen. If you go through this playbook page by page, it gets you through all social media apps. On top of social media apps, it gives you like Google Maps, helps you how to protect your iPhone, your Android phone, any laptops, any type of iPads. It helps shows you how to keep your kids safe. Also it kind of protects you from the dark web and getting your information leaked. It protects you from your credit scores, and pretty much kind of keeps you a safe barrier on moving forward as elected officials, and it helps protect you, your family, your close ones from any type of attack. But sometimes they don't attack you personally; they can find a way to get from the outside in. So I think this is a really good information for all of us to have moving forward. Just kind of keeping ourselves safe from any type of online attacks as they are getting more and more popular. So feel free to take this home, share it with all your families and friends that you feel the need that play a big part in your life, and protect it from in the future.
Thank you. Councilmember Schiltz.
I did have a community member come with the idea of a community garden. Kind of off the top of my head, just thinking about that, I do know this building used to have a flower garden in the front.
Yeah.
Corner, just from the front doors. Staff is working with the water meters that some residents use over the summer, and they're looking at different ideas for either new meters, different meters. They're continuing to review that. I did also get some comments concerning some political canvassers, I would maybe call them, that were present at the fire department pancake breakfast. I communicated that the city wasn't aware or had anything to do with that, and I just kind of directed them back to fire department and the agency if they wish to share those thoughts. That was it.
All right, thank you. Mayor ProTem.
I haven't received anything from the general public, but I do have one thing that I noticed. That I just wanted to bring up, and it's just a reminder, we have seen an increase the last several months with the signage in the right of ways. And we have tackled it before. But it's, the only thing is it's against city code to have the signage and the staked, signage in the right of ways, the public right of ways. Because sometimes, not all, but some of them can interfere with the driver's ability to see, direct line of sight to see when they pull out from a secondary road. So if we gotta do it for one, then we gotta do it for all of them, being that it is city code. So anywhere from private signs, garage sale signs, realtor signs, whatever. I've seen Chamber of Commerce signs, but I just wanted to reinforce that we're seeing more of that, and that it's against city code to do that.
Just to answer your question, the Chamber of Commerce has a right of way permit to place their signs. So in the future, yeah, if there is individuals that are going to do a publication, we would direct them to look at the right of way permit. Because again, within the ordinance, some of those items are not even permitted for right of way. But yeah, going through a permit process would allow them to have those there temporarily.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it fair for everybody, because we can't have just one avenue do it and then, pick up signs from everybody else or something.
Councilmember Dominguez.
I don't think I had any specifics. things. For as far as public comment goes, I'm still very heartbroken about the loss of Father Guillermo Trevino and. I know that the community has really rallied around, making sure that they're sharing stories with the family and they are, and the parishioners, because I know that they're hurting a lot right now, so. I'm just heartbroken and, don't really know where to go. I still don't believe it, so I just wanted to give my condolences and sympathies to everybody that's hurting with the tremendous loss of our father, so.
Councilmember Parizek.
I haven't received anything in the last week.
We'll move on to city manager
No, Mr. Mayor.
and city clerk.
I do not have anything at this time.
Okay. All right, then we will move on to number 7A, ordinance 2025-1007-14. An ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of West Liberty by amending provisions pertaining to fire department. This is the third and final reading. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Schiltz.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
One down, two to go. Ordinance 2025-1007-15. An ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of West Liberty, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to lease law. This is the third and final reading. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Schiltz,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Two down, one to go. Ordinance 0716. An ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of West Liberty, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to fireworks. This is the third and final reading. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
We now move to number 8, 8A, resolution 2025-1104-282, a resolution approving the proposed proposal from SEH for the dual fuel upgrade concept design for the city of West Liberty electrical department. And you have in the packet the information from electrical superintendent Cody Franklin and also the memo from the mayor. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I did have a question which I posed earlier today, but it was in regards to the second page, one of the line items on evaluate value of running turbines for peak shaving versus market participation via the wholesale provider. And I just needed clarification on how that would impact the city, if it was mainly cost or if it was just efficiencies.
So moving to a natural gas option, we will be, it's a lower cost fuel. So that will have a big impact on the cost of generating electricity here for the city.
And then are we still able to sell on the grid or provide anything on the grid like we do now if they call upon us or?
Yeah, so the relationship we're in with RPGI now, our resale power group, we'll still get those same credits. Everything will continue on as usual. The only difference is that if we do make this transition over to natural gas, is that our fuel costs will just be lower. Right now, as it stands, I think natural gas is about a third the cost of diesel fuel. So
It has risen quite a bit then. Diesel,
diesel,
yeah.
yeah, well, actually now it's, well, both fuel options are kind of
Yeah, it's
slowly
expensive, yeah.
falling now, but.
So I know years ago, like 15 to or more, 17 years ago, we looked at the same thing. Bringing natural gas into the cities,
Mhm.
but the infrastructure to do that was so cost prohibitive. I didn't know how that changed in relation to now as far as fuel prices, if it would be.
Yeah.
That's something that we,
That information is upcoming
Okay.
because that is pertaining to other discussions that we're currently having with regard to the infrastructure upgrade.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the cost of the infrastructure to bring the natural gas in, this is what this study is gonna look at.
Okay.
It's gonna identify the two different options that we have in front of us. One, going with our current provider, Mid-American Energy. Lee and I have had great discussions with Mid-Am on, and they've been more than accommodating, actually. They're looking at giving us a lot of revenue credits that if we stay with them. The other option is, as we spoke at a prior meeting, is tapping onto the Northern Borders line just south of town. And in that option, we would then assume our own pipeline responsibilities. We'd be owner operators of a pipeline, which comes with great responsibility. So and they're gonna identify all these different
Okay.
the costs that are associated with it, the rules and regulations that come along with that. That responsibility of being a pipeline owner. They're gonna identify the cost fuel options.
Okay.
So there'll be some cost analysis that they're gonna provide saying, hey, you will save this amount of money. You'll be able to generate this amount of electricity with this amount of BTUs from the pipeline. So, and then the cost, as I mentioned, the cost that's going to be associated with the development of those two options.
Okay, yeah, that's something that we didn't have back then, is the options other than just Mid-American, so.
Yeah.
It's good that we have that now, because we can leverage that for expense wise.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
good.
we're creating competition is
Yeah.
what we're doing. Yeah, we're creating some competition with MEC, with Mid-American,
It.
and
Yeah.
they've been very receptive so far.
Good.
They want to keep us as a customer, and I think we want to stay with them as a customer as long as it's the best option for the city, right? So, along some other points that I'll identify here is that not only are they going to identify the construction costs, but they're going to identify the feasibility of housing some of these like the compressors, for example. They'll size our compressors for us, let us know the cost of the compressors. They're gonna identify the energy density of the fuel. A lot of these calculations that I'm just not educated on. My specialty is more electrical, not gas related or mechanical. So hopefully by the end of this study, as I work with this engineering group, I become more educated myself as well.
So there's lots to do as an
Yep.
engineer. And so we're just talking about actually whether we want to move forward with this, right? That's the scope for the next agenda item.
Yeah, what we have in front of you is a scope of work and cost proposal for that scope of work. Yes. And I'd like to identify that, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if this firm also includes any environmental aspects, like I just want full transparency.
Yes, on the very last point on the scope of work, that there's a quality control in there, so they're gonna identify that there will be some upgrades of the powerhouse that need to happen as well, as in safety protocols. There's gonna need to be some gas detection that needs to be installed. As far as environmental controls, well, I can say this, environmentally, gas is more than half is a pollutant than what diesel is. So it's a much cleaning burning fuel. This will lower our NOx. A NOx is a air pollutant that comes from the burning of fossil fuels. Right now, as we stand with diesel fuel, we are right there for the EPA limit for NOx emissions. We're actually limited to only 100 hours a year because of those NOx ratings.
Yeah.
And now moving to this gas option, we can essentially run unlimited.
Being that there's so much gas infrastructure anyway throughout the state, I would assume that, the nature of environmental protection is already in place because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the first one.
Yes, I think it'll just be good to have, that as part of the report as well, because I know anytime you're talking about putting a pipeline in or something, there's just a lot that can happen with environmental groups and things like that, and so I just wanna understand fully, completely, because I'm not an expert at this as well, like, what are the risks, what are the impacts, how are we going to improve by reducing those NOx, whatever you said, so we can, as council members, explain that as well too. The difference between the different gases and, all of that.
Yeah, I share your concerns there. Being an owner and operator of a pipeline, like I said, has great responsibilities. I know that with my limited knowledge that there's odors and there's leak detections that you have to do on a daily basis and monthly inspections. I have concerns about that, especially that I might be dubbed responsible for that pipeline. So, yeah, as far as the environmental, like I mentioned, it's a much cleaner burning fuel. So, yeah, we're moving in the right directions. And as I mentioned again, is that we're right on that limit. So if any adjustments made to the EPA could deem us unavailable to even operate at that point, any fluctuation within the EPA right now. So.
Okay, are there other questions or concerns from the council members? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we'll move on to 8B, resolution 2025 1104-283, a resolution approving the agreement between the city of West Liberty and Iowa State University Extension and Outreach for goal setting services, and that's in the packet as well. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
McFerren.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And moves us to 8C, resolution 2025-1104-284, a resolution approving a pre-annexation agreement with CenturyLink Communications LLC. Again, in the packet, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
Parizek.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, that moves us to 8D, preview of the November 18th council meeting. And I think the main thing we'll be starting the work on finances. Any further comment on that from the city manager or city clerk?
I think just primarily it's our end of year required reporting and setting our TIF.
Okay, anything else, city clerk?
We will have some agreements for the electric department that will be coming forward as well.
Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
and a second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those who oppose, nay. Ayes have it, and we are adjourned. I think we have a number of students here again who are taking government class.